Round 7 of the BRDC British F3 Championship is here at Donington Park. It is a damp, slippery Donington. The weather has been pretty grotty all day. It's never really been heavy rain, nor has it ever really dried up and the circuit be dry. It has been damp and slippery all the way since the first track activity of 9:10 this morning, and this is round 7 of the BRDC British F3 Championship. It's the second race of the day for these drivers, the third of the weekend, and again they've got treacherous track conditions on which to race. David Addison, trackside, green flag waved. 1 green flag lap, says the message on the gantry, because they've already raced in these conditions. Although they qualified in the sunshine and the dry yesterday, and indeed raced in the dry and the sunshine yesterday, they have now had a whole race on a damp and slippy circuit, so they don't need the extra formation lap by way of experience. They've already got that from competition this morning. Now, this grid is based on a driver's second best lap time in qualifying, and it means that Cush Miney is the man on pole position, with Louis Foster, who won the race yesterday, lining up with him at the front of the grid. Third on the grid is FREDERICK, who came here as championship leader, who is still the championship leader despite not yet having had a victory this weekend. Kean Jewis, all-part winner, is 4th on the grid, ahead of Josh Skelton 5th, and Piers Pryor, who's also been a race winner this year, lining up 6th. The Danish-American Benjamin Pedersen comes next, with Sasakon Chaimon-Cole 8th on the grid, ahead of Nazim Asman and Reese Ushijima to round out the top 10 on the grid. Manaf Hijawi crashed out of race 2, the earlier race today, but he starts 11th here with the race 2 winner, Ulysse De Pauw, with Douglas Motorsport starting 12th on the grid. 13th, Carter Williams, new to the championship this weekend, learning all the time in the JHR Development Run car alongside the man that won at Spa last year, Nico Varoni. Josh Mason, who has been a race winner in these cars in the past, starts 15th, and another of the newcomers, Max Maserati, will line up 16th on the grid ahead of Oliver Clarke, and then Guillaume Pachotto. Now, both of those drivers were excluded from qualifying for yellow flag infringement, so they didn't have a time at all. They started at the back of the grid, and so too there's another driver that was excluded from qualifying, Bart Horston. Again, it was a yellow flag infringement that did for Bart Horston. He also had an accident in testing in the week, and so the Lannan team have put him in a spare car for the purposes of this weekend's races. There, the Thai driver you just saw, Sasakon Chaimon-Cole, that is Louis Foster, part of the MB partner stable, Mark Blundell's driver management company. But it is Cush Miney then who is on pole position. Cush Miney yet to win this year, but he's second in the championship. FREDERICK is the championship leader. Cush Miney, whose brother Arjun Miney, single-seater and sports car racer. Cush Miney drove last year in the Formula Renault Euro Cup, but he was in BRDC F3 2 years ago. He did have a race win in 2018, third in the championship. He's raced in Italian F4, raced in karts successfully as well. Louis Foster, who was a race winner in his first weekend of Slicks and Wings single-seaters at this level in the MRF Challenge back in February. He won in Madras, but he's graduated from the Formula 4 Championship in this country. He was third in that last year. Again, they are Slicks and Wings, but less powerful than these 2-litre Tacho chassis with the Mount-Hewn engines that they now have, taking over from Cosworth. It is a 12-lap or 20-minute race. The grid is formed. The drivers now look towards the lights, which in a moment will go red. They do so. Engine notes rise. Who's going to make the best start as the cars accelerate away? It's a good start by FREDERICK from third on the grid. He gets squeezed by Cush Miney, and Kean Jewis gets squeezed by Foster in the green and white car. Kean Jewis 2 wheels on the grass as they go down towards Redgate Corner for the first time, and up the inside goes Jewis. FREDERICK gets hung out to dry on the outside. Also losing places there, Louis Foster. He was another driver forced wide. They've all got round Redgate, although some were pretty lucky so to do, because it all got a bit fractious in the midfield. So it is Cush Miney that leads the way. Second, as they drop down here, is FREDERICK. Gap back third is Kean Jewis. And fourth is almost everybody else at the moment, with just at the head of that little battle pack as they go through, Josh Skelton. The Chris Dittman racing car runs fourth. Louis Foster comes next, and then the rest of the field headed by Benjamin Pedersen as they go up now in the spray in the slightly damp conditions that we've got now. Up to McLean's Corner, way up the curb there, goes on the inside line. Piers Pryor hooks a couple of wheels over the curb and get away with that, but that compromised the run out of the corner a little bit as FREDERICK lines up to have a go through Coppice against the race leader. There is Piers Pryor, but look up the road, it is still Cush Miney ahead, but only just. FREDERICK second, and Kean Jewis, who didn't really make progress in the earlier reverse grid race today, he's very definitely making progress now. Number 17 in the background, Nazim Asman, is looking to gain a place. Louis Foster there is all over the back of Josh Skelton as they flick through the S's now. Onto the Grand Prix loop for the first time. Down they will drop towards the Melbourne hairpin. So are we going to have Cush Miney get away from FREDERICK, who was mighty impressive in the reverse grid race, made good progress through the field, finished in second place in the race. Out now of the Melbourne hairpin, the race leaders come, and they drop down into the left-hander of Goddard to complete lap one. Number 17 there on the inside line, the blue car of KAYLEN's Nazi Nazman, going ahead of Piers Pryor, whereas Ulysse de Pauw, the race 2 winner, he didn't qualify so well for this, only 12th, and at the moment not really making progress as the leaders go by. Kushmini 8/10 up on KAYLEN FREDERICK at the end of lap 1. Cian Jewis is 3rd, 4th is Skelton, 5th is Foster, 6th is Benjamin Pedersen, and there is 71, Manaf Hijawi's rebuilt car. He crashed out of race 2 earlier on in the day, the Jordanian, gaining a place ahead of Sasakon Chaimonkol as they go down through Redgate into Hollywood now. Ulysse de Pauw just going out of shot there, riding the curbs as the leaders go through, but he was 9th at the end of the opening lap. 99 there is Guillaume Pachotto trying to gain places on the inside, diving up to McLean's corner, and he should go through. He was eliminated from race 2 courtesy of a black flag for a damaged nose cone, got a black and orange, ignored that, so he was black flagged and didn't rejoin. Leaders come down towards the S's, and the gap between the top two looking a little bit less here. So can KAYLEN FREDERICK do anything about the leader Kushmini? Mini is sideways through the S's, ride the curb, trying to avoid that sausage curb that acts as a ramp. And down into the braking zone lower back is Pachotto there as he slides his way now up towards the approach to the Melbourne hairpin. The two race leaders almost tripping over themselves here, but Kushmini just ahead of KAYLEN FREDERICK. 8/10 of a second was the margin last time around, and Frederick has been quicker in both of the sectors on this lap, so he's taking the battle to the Indian driver who leads. The American KAYLEN FREDERICK up now towards the timing line. Through he will go, and 8/10 becomes 4/10, and with it Frederick does the fastest lap of the race. Gap back to 3rd, Cian Jewis. He is dropping away just a little bit now. 4th is Josh Skelton, another F4 graduate ahead of Louis Foster. And Ulysse de Pauw there, number 55, keeping for the moment at any rate Nico Varoni behind him. So de Pauw, as I say, won earlier on in the day, but finding himself now having to go defensive rather than be on the attack, coming down through the Craner curves, out of Hollywood, through the Craners into the old hairpin they come now. It's not a true hairpin, it's a very fast right-hand corner, but out of it they turn, and from here on in the road starts to climb and climb and climb. Up towards Schwantz curve they go. Through Schwantz, then you go right into McLean's, and then the run into Coppice, out of which here KAYLEN FREDERICK now turns, the rain light on, both of them sideways. Frederick's car suddenly snaps away from him there, and that fires him out towards the curb, and you don't want to be on the curb either because there's even less traction there, so he gets away with that. But you see how the lead gap has gone up, and how Cian Jewis in 3rd place closes the margin down as well. Into, out of the S's, Louis Foster 5th behind this man, Josh Skelton. And Louis Foster coming good now as the race wears on. Is he going to be able to find a way through? No, not quite here, close enough. So he's got another lap or so trying to bring down that margin. Drivers coping with a greasy more than a wet road. Donington can be really foul in these conditions because being right next door to East Midlands Airport, it always gets this liberal coating of kerosene that the aircraft jettison as they're coming into land. That mixed with rain always makes for a very slippery mixture on the track surface. So as they go down to Redgate, the leader Kushmini now 6/10 up on KAYLEN FREDERICK, but Cian Jewis there, number 87, the man in 3rd place, rather than attack, is being attacked in fact now by Josh Skelton. And Josh looking pretty good out of all of this. He had a 4th in the opening race at Alton. He had a 6th in one of the races at Alton Park. We've not had him on the podium yet, but he's going really nicely here, and he's learning about the cars. Jewis is in his 2nd year, so is KAYLEN FREDERICK. Kushmini raced in the championship 2 years ago, so in terms of a true rookie, Josh Skelton is looking pretty good here. 4th last year with 2 wins within the British F4 Championship. Turns through the right-hander of McLean's corner, climbs the hill, the 19-year-old then in 4th place, and that in the pit lane is the hill speed car of Oliver Clarke, 3rd in the earlier race today. Race leaders as one as they come off Coppice corner now down towards the S's. So as the clock ticks on down, as the number of laps ticks on down as well, KAYLEN FREDERICK now mounting the challenge as they get to the braking zone. Is he going to be able to have a go? Not there, not close enough. Flicks through the S's. Jinx to the outside line as they brake and they turn into the corner here. Frederick gets up the inside, there's the gap, he's got the inside line, he's got the drive off the corner, they almost interlock wheels, but Kushmini then just comes out ahead. The high-tech car hangs on to the advantage. Frederick looking the quicker at the moment. In the background, Skelton is all over the back of Jewis like a rash as Frederick goes right round the outside. Brilliant move to get the race lead coming through Goddard's. KAYLEN Frederick to the outside line, finds the grit, finds the race lead, and now that he's up front, should be able to get away. Brilliant move to go round the outside, very brave stuff. Sometimes there is a bit more grip there, and that plays into the hands of KAYLEN Frederick, but he leads. Cian Jewis is under attack, but all of a sudden has got right onto the back of Kushmini. So they closed while the squabbling was going on for the lead. Now, can Miney pull away? Can Kush push? Or is Cian Jewis going to be able to take advantage of the previous race leader being put off his stride a little bit and attack now? Nico Veroni is up past Ulysse De Pauw, by the way, and has done the fastest lap of the race as the leaders go through. So De Pauw is down into 9th ahead of Nazim Asman. But KAYLEN Frederick, now that he has got the race lead, is getting away. Climb the hill into Coppitt's corner. Battle pack on 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. So Miney, Jewis, Skelton and Foster. In 6th place, Benjamin Pedersen. More bravery here. 71 round the outside is Manaf Hajawi. He's alongside Guillaume Pachotto, number 99. Guillaume tries to brave it out with him on the inside line. Hajawi, another MRF Challenge racer at season start, on the outside, can't do it there, so he's going to try and slot in. Except that he too is under attack. There's Risa Shijima looking to make some progress out of all of this as well. Number 13 there in the high-tech car as they come towards the S's, and behind all of them is Josh Mason. Jewis versus Skelton. This is the 3rd. Skelton round the outside, he finds the traction and he gets the job done. Another really, really impressive move that. Josh Skelton, less experienced in these cars, that is Cian Jewis. He goes ahead, but he goes deep into Goddard's. Jewis fights back on the inside line. They are absolutely wheel to wheel coming over the corner. Jewis again a little bit more crossed up than is Skelton, and Josh will go ahead of him as they come across the line. Jewis is going to have to slot back in behind, is he? Let's see. Tries to stand his ground on the outside line as they turn now through Redgate. In the meantime, Hajawi versus Rhys Ushijima here. Both of them raced against one another in the MRF Challenge at the start of the season. Down they come into Redgate corner. Behind, looking to try and be part of this, is another MRF Challenge racer, and that's Josh Mason. More touching of wheels almost there as Manaf Hajawi in the blue and white livery on the outside line looks for a way round, but for the moment Rhys Ushijima, the American, keeps him at bay. This championship doing very well for American drivers this year, with something like 4 of them in the entry. There, Foster slides ahead of Jewis. Brave effort, and it works, going into McLean's, but he goes out wide, so Cian Jewis in the green and white car fights back as they head up the hill now into Coppice. But Louis Foster for Double R Racing, Boyo, Anthony Hyatt's team, fends off the Douglas Motorsport car of Cian Jewis. So some cars getting better as the race wears on, others perhaps losing their edge as the race wears on. And there, KAYLEN Frederick flicks through the S's. So Frederick long gone already. It was 1.3 seconds having got the lead. Now he's well clear of the opposition. That margin increasing all the time as the cars now turn out of the Melbourne hairpin. On the power, head uphill. Now there, 71, Manaf Hajawi losing places. I suspect he's been off the road at the S's because suddenly they are 3 wide, and Josh Mason goes ahead of Rhys Ushijima, who's also gone ahead of Hajawi, and trying to get involved in that as well is Bart Horston. So Horston at the back of the pack, but Josh Mason was the real capitalist out of that. He gained 2 places, darting between one recovering and one slowed car. Ushijima goes back through on the inside line into Goddard's. And Bart Horston goes through against Manaf Hajawi as well. So it all started at the S's, I fear, for Hajawi, and it all finished going down to Goddard's. And that means the Jordanian ends up down in 16th place. Meantime, Kushmini's got Josh Skelton breathing right down his neck. KAYLEN Frederick, leader, has done the fastest lap of the race. This is the Hajawi explanation. Just ran too rapidly into the S's, braked himself, lost momentum. And look, Mason, between one car delayed, one car recovering, comes out ahead. So there is KAYLEN Frederick, the race leader, clear up front as he goes now into Coppice, ahead of Kushmini, ahead of Josh Skelton, running well in 3rd place. Louis Foster 4th, now part of that group. So can Louis, who's father Nick for a number of years was a BMW in the British Touring Car Championship, comes down to the left and right flick of the S's. Louis Foster then in 4th spot. Skelton 3rd, Miney 2nd. down towards the Melbourne hairpin comes FREDERICK then. So the man that's done the fastest lap leads the way, the margin increasing all the time. Into Goddard's then comes that second place battle, and Guillaume Picciotto up the inside there as he comes out of the Melbourne hairpin, trying to get ahead of Oliver Clarke back after his pit stop. Right, there is the second place battle. Skelton to the outside line in the red and yellow and black Chris Dittman racing colours. Can he go all the way around the outside? Not there, he can't. Does that put him in jeopardy for losing a place? No, because although Louis Foster is up into fourth, he's not close enough. Skelton again attacks at Hollywood. Can't find a way through there. Downhill they come. So Kushmini may have dropped off the back of the race leader, but he's still defending resolutely for second place here as they drop down to the old hairpin once again. Through they turn. Cian Jewis, mystifyingly, dropping off the pace a little bit here. So Cian has had a frustrating weekend, not being able to really match the pace of the others in that leading gaggle. So he's a little bit too far back to challenge right now. He needs one or two others to have dramas, I think, to benefit out of all of this. But through they turn again. Side by side for second place. Skelton nearest to us. On the inside line, the silver car of Kushmini, who breaks as late as he dares, gets a little bit crossed up, scrabbles through. Here comes Skelton on the attack on the inside. He saw it coming, and so did Louis Foster, who goes to the outside line. So three wide, down to the Melbourne hairpin. In the middle is Miney, on the inside is Skelton, on the outside is Foster. Who's going to come through? If anybody, Skelton gets forced out wide. Jewis benefits because he gains one place at least. Miney is back up into second. Skelton is third, so no real change. Up to fourth is Jewis. And back down to fifth is Louis Foster as Kushmini is on the inside line here. Look, they both go deep into the corner. Cian Jewis on the attack again to get up alongside Josh Skelton. Up past the pits they now come. And Kushmini somehow is still in second place. Josh Skelton third. Cian Jewis is fourth. Louis Foster not only has lost a place, he's lost a bit of ground as well. And then behind him you've got the battle there. Look, 24 Benjamin Pedersen just ahead of Nico Veroni as they go onto the top of the crane. There's 6 minutes of the race to go, or 4 laps, depending on which is completed first. Without safety cars, we should be good for laps and time to combine here, and the road drier and quicker than we had earlier on in the day as well. So there, 25, Nico Veroni crawling all over the back of Benjamin Pedersen, the Danish-American driver, dual nationality he has. You see how the cars slide now because the road is neither wet nor dry. It's just this greasy, damp state that it's in. Miney into Coppice. Skelton is third, and Cian Jewis right there behind them. Now, while they're all squabbling over second, FREDERICK's just driving away into the distance. Goes now down towards the left-right flick of the S's. This battle on still for second place. Have a look at the background as well, because Veroni is looking to try to gain a place at the expense there of Pedersen, but he can't do it. He was briefly ahead when they went over the line, but Pedersen back in front for the bulk of that lap. So High-Tech leads Chris Dittman, leads Douglas at the moment in this battle with the Louis Foster Double R car next up. Pedersen on the inside line. Benjamin Pedersen, another of the Double R drivers, keeping at bay what he was. Nico Veroni, but the CDR car right round the outside, so Nico Veroni gains a place again. And what's going to happen for second? Getting the undercut, look, Josh Skelton switches from the outside to the inside. Kushmini gets the drive off the corner, but he goes wide up onto the curb. Now Skelton is ahead as they cross the timing line, but he's on the outside line down towards Redgate, so he can't, I don't think, cut across. He's going to have to break a bit earlier and try and get the undercut. But here comes Cian Jewis, dives up the inside. Really good move that to put himself alongside for third. Can he secure it? No, he can't. Doesn't have the pace out of the corner. Down through the crane as they go once more. And so it is the silver car hanging on to second place. Kushmini, he's back ahead, albeit by a Nats whatnot. There in third is Skelton, fourth is Jewis, fifth is Foster. And in sixth spot, as they climb the hill again, is Nico Veroni. And the way that Veroni is going, now that he's shaken off Benjamin Pedersen as his opponent, suggests he might be able to gain more ground before the end. Sliding his way, Louis Foster behind Cian Jewis out of McLean's corner. Tries one side, tries the other. Pirelli tyres, they run on. The rubber trying to cope with this semi-wet, semi-dry circuit now. Fastest lap, incidentally, has been done by Guillaume Picciotto, way back in the order in 12th place, but getting a toe and a bit of clear room last time, and he has improved his lap time. In the meantime, the leaders flick out of the S's, leader singular, battle pack for second to be fair, and it remains at the moment Skelton crawling all over the back of Miney. Then in fourth is Jewis, but the closest pair are Louis Foster and Nico Veroni. Look at the way that Veroni has hunted down Foster all of a sudden. This is a car that needs another 10 laps because Nico Veroni is getting better and better and better as the race wears on. And now the run up towards Goddard. To the outside line goes Nico Veroni. He's done it. He's got his nose in front. But Louis Foster stands his ground on the inside line. Struggles for traction a little bit as they come off the corner. But through, round the outside, Nico Veroni has done it. So Frederick leads, Miney second, Skelton third. Fourth is Jewis. Up into fifth place now is Nico Veroni, who started 14th. A great drive this by Nico. So as they come down through the Craner curves, did some British F3 last year by real way of preparation for FIA F3 at the likes of Silverstone and Spa, but he's here for a full crack this year. And the fight for second place is going to go down to the wire. This is lap 11, so we will get the 12 laps in looking at the clock. And KAYLEN Frederick leading by 8 seconds, give or take a fraction. Miney still in second place, Skelton still third ahead of Jewis in fourth. And further back, Nazim Azman has gained a position as well. He now is into ninth at the expense of Alton Park with Piers Pryor. Miney into that right-hander of Coppice, hanging on to his second place. But KAYLEN Frederick, look, he's in a different race altogether. He has just checked out, well clear up front. Miney hangs on to second, but for how much longer here? Sideways is Miney, flicks his way out of the S's. But Josh Skelton not close enough to benefit from that. He's not really able to take advantage on the way down towards the Melbourne hairpin, but can he do it coming out of the corner? Let's see. No, Miney just able to hang on to the place, but it's close all of this as they're heading out towards Goddard. They'll start the last lap this time then. KAYLEN Frederick, there he is, goes across the line, goes for the wet part of the road just to make sure that the Pirelli tyres survive. The KAYLEN engineers look on, they look at themselves on TV, they look at the timing data as well. And behind, in second place, the silver car, the high-tech GP entry of Miney still under attack, but from the hard-charging Josh Skelton. Skelton tries to line up on the inside coming out of Redgate. The gap is there. Has he got the drive off the corner? No, is the answer. So as they plunge downhill now, heading into the right-hander of the old hairpin. A bit of a twitch there from Miney. Skelton has got Jewis crawling all over the back of him, but Nico Veroni, as I say, needs another 10 laps. He's right there. All of a sudden, he's caught this gaggle for second place, and he would be able to make his way through if he had a bit more time, I suspect, but he's going to run out of options. He might gain a place if he's lucky before the end, but a really impressive effort this by Nico Veroni, up from 14th on the grid as they fling the cars into McLean's corner. In these conditions, they're really exciting to watch. Well, you can see them slide, see the effort being put in. They're not running on rails, as slicks and wings single-seaters often I want to do. KAYLEN Frederick, though, has been mighty in this. He's going to win the race ahead of there. Miney in second spot. Third, as they come towards us, is Josh Skelton, but he's under attack. Look, Kian Jewis comes up on the outside line. It's a brave place to challenge. Is it going to be a successful place? He's ahead, he's off the road, he's over the curve, and that's unsettled him enough to give Nico Veroni a chance now to pounce on the way down towards the Melbourne hairpin. Veroni has the position, he's done it, so he goes fourth. Now, what about Jewis fighting back? He does fight back on the inside line as we take KAYLEN Frederick up towards the checkered flag. KAYLEN Frederick is going to come through and score a third win of the season. KAYLEN Frederick for Carlin wins at Donington in round 7 of the BRDC British F3 Championship. And is anybody going to be second? They all scrabble off the corner. Miney was ahead. Is he ahead when they get to the line? It's going to be a dead heat virtually because Josh Skelton is just ahead by a 10th. Miney ends up being mugged for third. Fourth, Nico Veroni ahead of Jewis, Foster, Pedersen, De Pauw up to 8th, Pachotto 9th, Nazim Azman 10th. Brilliant finish with lots and lots of pace training all over the last few laps behind this dominant race leader. Now race winner, KAYLEN Frederick takes the win comfortably, having got himself ahead of Miney, but a brilliant battle for second place with Skelton on the line taking the position. Nico Veroni, fourth from 14th on the grid. Brilliant drive as well by him. So, Josh Mason is in the gravel on the last lap. So the British driver walks away. We're not really seeing the best of Josh this year. He's very experienced in these cars. What, third season? But struggling to match the pace that was anticipated from him. So Better luck next time. But in the third race here at Donington, it is a race win for FREDERICK ahead of Josh Skelton. Kushmini mugged on the line for third. Nico Varoni, a brilliant effort up to fourth ahead of Kian Jewis and Louis Foster. Benjamin Pedersen, seventh from Ulysse de Pauw. Guillaume Pachotto, ninth from Nazim Asman, and then Piers Pryor, 11th from Sasakorn Chaimonkol. Reece Ushijima, 13th ahead of Bart Alston. Manaf Hijawi in 15th place at the checkered flag. So some great battling in the order, really from second to sixth, but no argument about the race winner. FREDERICK having relieved Kushmini of the lead. Let's have a look back at the highlights of that race. And a good start made by Kushmini to lead into turn one, but FREDERICK initially in jeopardy, wasn't he? Because Kian Jewis came up to have a look as they plunged down through the Craner curves for the first time. FREDERICK all over the back of the race leader, with in third spot Kian Jewis and then Josh Skelton in fourth ahead of Louis Foster. Battles raged on lower down. Nazim Asman in a hurry to try to work his way up through the field, but Kushmini then from his pole position holding sway as further back Guillaume Pachotto came up to have a go at the car from Lannon in the hands of Josh Mason. FREDERICK attacked at the Melbourne hairpin, got a good run out of the corner, got his nose in front and went all the way round the outside at Goddard to take the race lead. It's a brilliant move. Others less fortunate. That was Carter Williams getting it wrong. He ended up in 17th place in the end. We had Manaf Hijawi going off the road at the S's. That compromised him, and it let Reece Ushijima and Josh Mason get in on the act as well. A similar moment in a less draconian sense for Kushmini. He also was in threat of being mugged coming out of the S's by Josh Skelton, who in turn at Redgate was almost passed by Kian Jewis. In the end, Jewis would go backwards, courtesy of a challenge mounted by Skelton's teammate Nico Varoni. And this was why, because Jewis launched himself over the curb at the S's, lost places and fell to 5th position. That meant a win for FREDERICK, his third of the season, with Josh Skelton there just sneaking ahead of Kushmini on the line for second. Mini third from Varoni, Jewis and Foster. For FREDERICK, it is win number 3 and an excellent drive from the American, winning by 11 seconds. Next stop, the BRDC British F3 Championship will be Brands Hatch at the end of August. For now, from David Addison at Donington. Goodbye.